Aloha friends! Welcome to the Big Island of Hawaii. In this video, I'm going to be exploring Hawaii Volcanoes National Park and doing something really epic. I'm going to be hiking the world's largest active volcano and sleeping at the top. This is my first time on the Big Island of Hawaii, and I'm so excited to be here. I flew into the Hilo airport, which is on the east side of the island, and then drove here into the park, which took about 45 minutes. Now, you can also fly into Kona, which is on the other side of the island, but that's about a 2-hour drive. And this national park also happens to be both a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a biosphere reserve. It's full of some really unique things, and it's going to be a really fun trip. This park is home to not one, but two very active volcanoes, Kilauea, which you can see behind me, and Mauna Loa, which is way over there. It's really tall, and that's what we're going to be hiking in just a little bit. My first night here in the park, I'm staying here at the Volcano House. This is the only official national park lodging here in the park. So this room was, I think, $340 before tax. It's a two double beds, small bathroom, parking lot view. It is the first room as you enter the hotel. So just for the price, it's kind of like underwhelming. Like a Holiday Inn is nicer most of the time and usually has a better view too. But room aside, this hotel is actually really cool because of where it's situated. So I guess this hotel used to have some old historic steam baths. Kind of interesting. So this was the men's room. I hope they didn't have too many people in here at once. So this was built in 1941, this hotel. This room offered guests a chance to soak up Pele's steam, which was provided through a tube in the floor. That's pretty cool. And there was also a woman's steam room next door. Now, this is this beautiful addition to the hotel. You have these beautiful glass windows overlooking the volcano. Wow, beautiful. And then there's more rooms with balconies that way. So the room I booked was the only one available, which is why I didn't get to choose, I think, to have a nice view. Okay, it is really, really neat up here. The sun is just going down and there's this beautiful colors just hitting the top of the caldera here. There is steam coming out from all these different spots in the middle of the caldera too. And over on the edges here where you have these tall cliffs that I think go up 400 or 500 feet and you have forest on top, there is just this fog and steam coming off the top and just blowing through the trees and going off into space, kind of like if an old man was sitting in the cold and blowing his warm air through the forest. So it's really neat, and there's tons of people out here taking in the view, lots of people inside eating. But this is a really great start to this trip, and I cannot wait to see what else this park has in store. I can't believe we're about to sleep on the rim of an active volcano. This is just wild. It's one of the craziest places I've ever slept. And we have a really big day tomorrow, so it is time to get some sleep. Which is why I'm also really excited about today's video sponsor, Mantis Sleep, which makes this fantastic eye mask and some other fantastic sleep products too. Now, over the years, I've slept at some really strange places, and as a traveler and a camping enthusiast, I've slept in some really loud and uncomfortable places too. Trains and planes, to mountain huts and tents, and even glass cabins in the middle of Arctic summer, where sleeping is not always the easiest thing. But that's why this little eye mask from Mantis Sleep is always in my backpack. Because no matter where I am or what time zone I'm in, if I put this little guy on and some earplugs, I can sleep just about anywhere. The material is super soft and gives me that blackout effect, so it's great for any time you may need a nap in a bright environment. The band is also adjustable and has never snagged my hair. And the eye cups are padded so they don't put any extra pressure on your face or eyes, even if you sleep on your side like me. I also pair this mask with Mantis Sleep's great earplugs when I'm in loud environments. And right now you can get 10% off your order at Mantis Sleep with this code right here at the link in the description. And guess what? I'm also going to be giving one of these away to a lucky subscriber. So check the description box for some details, and I'm off to get a great night's sleep. Aloha! Good morning, everybody. This is my favorite part about staying at these national park lodges, because this is my hotel here, the Volcano House. Behind me, you have the Kilauea Visitor Center. And then the museum is right here too. And there are a ton of trails that start just right here, right by the Visitor Center, right by the hotel. So it's about 7 a.m. right now. No one is in the park yet, which means I'm gonna hit some trails. And I'm gonna start with a trail called the Sulfur Banks, which goes out to some steam vents, and I'm really excited to check them out. Wow, this is so pretty. This tree canopy just above. Gigantic ferns. It really is like we're walking through Jurassic Park. Just like Yellowstone National Park, this park, because it is volcanic, has areas where you have these big steam chambers, holes in the earth where combinations of water, carbon dioxide, and a little bit of sulfur as well are coming out just everywhere you look. So if you have respiratory problems, this is probably not the hike for you, but it is really neat to see just all of the little fissures from, you know, the 500 years of volcanic eruptions that have taken place here, where the gas is escaping from the ground. And we're gonna keep going and see what else this trail has in store. It has started raining, which happens often here on the Big Island of Hawaii. It is extremely lush, and you need a lot of rain to keep up with that, so make sure you always pack your raincoat when you're coming here to Hawaii. We're also at a higher elevation here, so it is a little bit cooler, so for anyone coming specifically to this national park, you will want pants and layers, because right now it's in the 50s, so not going to be that kind of Caribbean beach vibe up here in the national park. Now this trail also, I wanted to point out, is handicap accessible, so you do have the wooden boardwalks, and then you have this paved trail the rest of the way, so really nice to have that accessibility on this trail, which I think the national parks are really good at doing at most of the visitor centers across the country. No, my lens is not dirty. Right now I am standing next to this steam vent, and oh wow, it's actually really, really cool, because when it hits you, it's just this warm, just like perfectly warm steam, and it feels amazing. Oh my gosh, I love it. You know, my mom actually lives in a place called Glenwood Springs. It's in Colorado, and there are sulfuric vents there as well, some steam chambers down in the ground that you can actually visit. And this reminds me so much of that. This is like a free spa day. Ah. Right now I'm driving the Chain of Craters, which is a scenic drive around the rim of this volcano that goes all the way down to the coastline down below. There's some fantastic hikes to do along this route. There's also some fantastic scenic points. The one I'm standing out right now gives you this fantastic view into one of the craters here at the top of Kilauea, and there are several. So this is one of the most active volcanoes in the world. Since 1823, there have been 61 separate eruptions, and each one of those forever changes the landscape here. If you only have time for one hike while you're here in this national park and you want to get an inside look at the caldera, I definitely recommend the Kilauea Trail. It actually starts from the parking lot I was just in, and it walks you down onto this valley floor. Now, it is a really steep ascent and descent, but once you're down there, you're inside the caldera. You can check out all the different lava flows that have happened over the 150 plus years in which this volcano has been super active. And there are certainly a lot of people down there today doing just that. Behind me is the Thurston lava tube. Now, this was formed about 500 years ago in one of the eruptions of Kilauea. It goes for quite a distance underground here, and it was formed from 2,000-degree lava as it came channeling through this area. And when the lava flow stopped, it left this giant hole in the ground, which is now an ecosystem. It's home to tons of animals and plants and insects. And it's gonna be a little bit dark in there, but we're gonna go check it out. This trail round trip is 1.2 miles. So the lava tube itself is actually quite short, but it is really fascinating to be able to walk through that and just see the power of that 2,000-degree lava and what it does to a landscape underground. Because this volcano is still active, there's no saying, you know, what kind of geological or landscape changes people will see here over the next couple of decades, couple of centuries. Every eruption and even just the release of the steam and the sulfuric gases, all of that is constantly changing the landscape here, which is really fascinating. And this volcano in itself, Kilauea, is one of the most studied volcanoes. The area that I'm walking around now is the 1974 lava flow here in the park. I don't know what it is about volcanoes, but I just love them, probably because they're so different. And sorry, it is a bit windy, so hopefully that you can hear me okay. You know, it's just such an alien landscape always. And the cool thing about Kilauea, I mean, there's lots of cool things, but it has been erupting continuously for years and years and years. And every time there is a big eruption, there is almost always a new lava flow. So if you hike down into the crater and explore this whole park, you will see tons of different lava flows as you explore. And this one, I can already see, has some research being done here. So I'm not sure what they're studying here, but there are definitely some people that are coming out here and doing some sort of research. So that's really cool. And I also wanted to point out, if we take a close look, you find some. If we take a really close look at some of this lava rock, it's actually all of these different colors. Like this one here, you have a little bit of purple, you have some grayish white, you have black. And it's really fun to just look really closely at this. There's one in front of me here that looks like it has specks of blue and silver. And all of these are different composites of minerals that have all been mushed together, heated to really high temperatures, cooled really quickly, and all just have this amalgamation now of all these different minerals that makes up the lava rock. So when you're walking around, it's like a kaleidoscope of glittery colors. And it's just lots of fun to look at. Continuing down the chain of craters drive, I'm now heading down towards the ocean. Wow, I have made another stop. We might not make it to the beach. No, we will, but there are so many interesting things to just stop and look at along the way. Right now we are just in this absolutely expansive lava flow. It just goes on for what looks like miles. And this is also the beginning of a coastal trail that you can take. It starts here in this lava flow and goes all the way down to the beach. So there's a huge variety of hiking trails here in this national park. And if you're a hiking enthusiast like me, you'll want to come and spend several days here exploring some of these hikes. Now, many of them are 4+ miles, so you aren't going to want to do more than 1 or 2 in a day, but definitely plan out your adventures here. We're obviously doing one of the longest hikes in this park, and I'm going to be starting in a few hours, but we're going to get down to the beach. There's a cool sea cave down there that I want to look at, and then we're going to head to our trailhead for the next few days. Okay, I am just about to start my hike up to Mauna Loa. And to get there, you have to actually, well, it's a little bit of a process. You have to get an access pass to go through this gate because it is through private farmland. So I've done that over the last few days, and I'm going to enter here. Then we have a little bit of a drive up this road before we get to park and then hit the trail. Hello. Hi. Can I have a pet? Oh, hello. Hi, friends. Oh, hi. Well, be careful. There's a fence. Hi. Hi. Wish me luck on the mountain. Okay? Okay, bye. Bye. If you guys know me at all, you know I'm obsessed with donkeys. Definitely a good sign. There's a lot of 4-wheel drive roads to hikes that I've done in the United States, and most of the time you could probably get away with it in like a Subaru or something like this. This road is a serious 4-wheel drive road. It is very bumpy, very uneven, lots of cows, definitely need high clearance, and at the gate, it does say, you know, if you have 2-wheel drive, turn around. Don't even attempt to drive on this. So this is spicy. This is definitely, especially in a rental car, makes me a little nervous. Wow. Wow, that road was insane. And we still have 2 miles to go, but we've got to go through one more gate. We are exiting the farm and entering the forest reserve. It's also just starting to sprinkle, so let's hope that holds off for a little bit. I am finally starting this climb up to the top of Mauna Loa volcano, which is the largest active volcano on the planet. And I'm starting the trail a little bit sooner. We're still walking up the road because there was a section back there that I did not think I would make it up. I do have a rental car. It is a Jeep, but it does not have a super high clearance. So, and I've already been up 2 really steep sections that the car just really did not want to get up, and it took me 4 or 5 tries to kind of make it up the road. So of course now the road is fine, but there was a really steep, rocky section back there that was a little risky. So less than a mile, I believe, to the start of the actual trailhead. Today, I'm gonna be hiking around 3.5 miles. It is already 4:40 p.m. because that road took a lot longer than I kind of expected it to. I am a little bit behind schedule here to not have to hike in the dark. But I've got a light backpack today because I don't have a tent, which is nice because tonight we're actually staying at a cabin, mountain shelter, and I think it's got room for about 8 people, but we'll see when we get there in a little bit what it looks like. I have made it to the trailhead. This is called the Inapo Trail. There are actually, I think, 2 routes up to the summit of Mauna Loa. One of them is currently closed. So to my knowledge, this is the only way to access the summit right now. And that road that we came up was called the Inapo Road, which was absolutely insane. So from here, I believe I have about 2.7 miles. I'm gonna be staying tonight at the Inapo cabin, which is managed by the state of Hawaii. So I booked that a couple of days ago. You will see things like this. Not only at trailheads, but also in the national park and all the state parks. That's because there are a lot of invasive species that have made their way here to Hawaii that have really damaged a lot of the ecosystems. So it's really important to brush your shoes off before and after all the trails so you don't spread any seeds to places they shouldn't be. All right, off we go.
Moments before the trailhead lay the body of a gigantic dead cow. I wasn't sure if I should take it as a bad omen or an offering to the god Pele. Either way, this mixed with the realization that I was totally alone on the world's largest volcano gave me a slight sense of uneasiness as I began ascending the volcanic slopes. But it's also this feeling of total isolation that empowers me to feel braver, stronger, and more connected to the world.
It is starting to get dark now, so I did stop and get my headlamp out. Less than a mile to go, but this has been really steep so far and quite rocky, which was to be expected. I am going fast but slow because limited water supply. There is supposed to be a rainwater catch at this shelter. Fingers crossed it has water in it, because if not, we will be turning back in the morning to go back to the car. The trail is really well marked. You have all these piles. You also have blue ribbons to mark the way. So pretty easy to stay on the trail here. Sweet home, we found it. Awesome. I've made it to the shelter. I have the whole place to myself. Unfortunately, I did have to hike in the dark for about 40 minutes to get up here, which is usually not preferred. Really hard to actually stay on the trail because in the dark, it was so foggy that I had so much moisture hitting the headlamp that it was just really easy to get turned around. So I did have to consult my map a few times to make sure I was on the right route. But this is a 6 bed shelter, mattresses and all. There is potable, well, non-potable water out there, so bring a water filter if you're coming here. Maps of the backcountry up here, huge table. There's also another little kind of like cooking shelter or rain shelter down below this. So really nice setup. This cabin to rent was $50 and it can hold up to 6. So a pretty cheap way to come and experience the backcountry. I am going to get my pack unloaded. I'm gonna get some water filtered. I'm gonna get a bed set up here, and then I'm gonna make some food. Okay, I have my dinner just about done now, which is great. I've made some tea, and the shelter is really cool. Toilet, not so great, but that's because somebody operator error before me. But that's why the woods are just there as well. So while I'm waiting for my food to eat, I was reading through some of the entries in the in the guest book here. And one of the last people who was about a week ago, so obviously this trail isn't, or this cabin isn't used a lot, they said, the trail above will eat your souls. And maybe they meant you're also your soul. 19 miles from Mauna Loa cabin to the summit and back to Inapo cabin. Took 9.5 hours. Left some tips on safely crossing the soft flow at the Mauna Loa cabin. Logbook. Rumor has it this is the toughest trail in Hawaii. And it certainly is the hardest we've done yet. Harder than Weeping Well in Kauai. Wow, pretty cool. I love reading this. This is cool. I'm going to obviously put an entry in here too. Good morning, everybody. It is around 7:15 right now. I've been up for a little bit. Didn't sleep super well. I actually wasn't that tired. And this place really smells like mildew. So if you're sensitive to smells, and I definitely am, you might have a hard time going to sleep. I mean, you do get used to it eventually, but definitely the mattresses really smell like mold and mildew. So that's always fun. It's been raining for a couple hours now, and I'm just gonna wait until it gets drier to start heading to the summit, because I really don't want to be out there in the rain all day, especially as the temperatures drop as we get closer to the top. So luckily I do have a little bit of wiggle room because I'm not trying to do this as a day hike, because I will be staying up at the top. I do have a little bit more time to play with, so that's really nice. Well, the sun is trying to break through this rain. I can see way down below, kind of in the lower elevation down by the ocean down there, that the clouds have parted. It is still raining pretty heavily here. So I guess I'll just wait a little bit more, but I will show you what this place looks like in the daytime. This is where we are. Never would have known last night. Down below, there's another little, probably was the first shelter that was ever built here. Far down there you can see some sunshine, so I'm hoping that these mountain clouds start to disappear soon. All right, I've checked the weather and the rain is not going to stop for a while, probably until tomorrow. There will be some intermittent times today where I might have some clear skies, but that means we're gonna get going. I'm gonna throw my poncho on and we're hitting the trail. Welcome to the moon. I am taking my first little break here, and the sky is finally clearing. This first mile or so has just been in this ethereal fog where you couldn't really make out much of anything. And it's been a really interesting and weird landscape. It's tough going and slow going because this is all this pyroclastic like bombs that have come out of the volcano, and they're all jagged and hard and slippery and loose. So it makes for really tough going, really slow going on this stuff. You definitely wouldn't want to fall down on any of this because it would definitely cut you up pretty badly. This is pretty crazy. I'm actually standing on top of a lava tube right now. Give you a little look. As you can see, there's a huge hole down there. The trail goes right across here. And then big hole over there. So really hazardous, actually. Good reason to not attempt this hike in the dark. Very, very treacherous with all of these obstacles and rocks. It is starting to get windy, but thankfully the sun's out. Well, today is not going to go as planned. I'm about a third of the way up. It's only around 11 a.m., so definitely time to make the summit. But I actually just got a work call because I do have service here, and I was supposed to work. I was supposed to be flying across the country for a job in about 5 days, and I just found out that that is only 3 days away now, which means I have to, unfortunately, turn back and head back to the car so that I can get home to California to then get across the country to North Carolina for this job. Really, really bummer that I won't be able to continue on up the summit. It is sprinkling again. The fog has rolled in again. It is cold. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to get down. If there is time permitting, I will explore a little bit more of the park and maybe even walk down in the crater of Kilauea if we have time. But yeah, really bummer. Mauna Loa, I'll be back. I'm just going to have to come back again, I guess, and try to make it to the summit of this volcano. It would have been really cool sleeping up there on the rim. I'm glad we've already slept on the rim of Kilauea, so technically I have come through with the promise of sleeping on the rim of a volcano. I'm gonna stop rambling now. I'm gonna put the camera away and I will see you guys at the bottom. Great, super great. More wet. I have made it back to the car. Wow, that was a torrential downpour the last hour. It's just shy of 3 p.m. So I'm actually quite glad that I'm not near the summit right now because it would be really cold and really wet. You can see my sleeves. I just put on a dry t-shirt. But now I've got to tackle this treacherous road and it's become a river. So not looking forward to it, but almost home at least. I've made it back to the gate. However, my access code that I used yesterday is not working, and I am right now stuck inside this ranch. Can't get out. No one is answering the phones, and no one is responding to my messages. So hopefully someone will respond soon and I can be let out of here. Very strange. I've tried it 9 ways to Sunday, not working, so I'm not sure if it was changed overnight. If they do it every day, I don't know. But I guess we'll wait and see. well, that was a stressful hour. I had to call 911. I called this ranch many times, left messages, sent text messages. Finally talked to someone at the police station that called the national park, and then also called, I'm assuming, the property owners here, and I finally got a message back saying that I was supposed to request an exit code because they change the code every night at around 8:47 p.m. Which I didn't read on any website. Maybe I missed it, but yeah, that was wild. I mean, the police basically were like, it's private property, we can't, use a bolt cutter. So I'm glad I'm finally out. That was not what I was expecting to get out of there.